Chapter 2. The Choice. Jonathan followed Durin back through the forest. They walked through the calm as the yellow, blue, and purple light illuminated their path. "How do I go back?" Jonathan asked. "The same way you came in," Durin replied. "Submerge yourself in the pool and you will find yourself back in Earthland." "Why do you call it that?" "We mistook Earth as the name of your race when our people began exploring your world. Land of the Earths. We discovered our mistake not too long after, but by then the term had stuck." The hoot of an owl startled Jonathan. It swept past him to land just before the portal. "You return!" Isaac replied, settling his talons on a tree stump. "I was curious to see if you truly did enter this place unaided." "It may be that the bridge is compromised," Durin told him. "I will have to run some tests. Be aware that some humans may be passing through soon." "Yes, Tiophir." Durin gestured towards the hot spring with his hands. "Submerge yourself in the water, Jonathan. I wish to see if you can make it through." Doing as he was bid, Jonathan walked to his waist in the warm water, then eased himself in. Laying back in the water, he counted himself. 1, 2, 3. He pulled himself under the water. After a few seconds, his body suddenly went from blessed warmth to cold. The sudden change in temperature made him gasp. Swallowing the water in panic, he sat up straight in the water. It was very bright out. "Jonathan!" Gauda called out. "You're alive!" Suddenly, two strong arms wrapped around his shoulders as his uncle dragged him from the water. The embrace was firm but warm. "You had me so worried." "I thought you drowned," Gauda babbled. "That explained what must have happened, but I didn't believe him until he showed me the message." Magnus produced a small stone from his pocket. He rubbed the symbols on its surface and Durin's message appeared as misty words in the air. Jonathan was amazed by the spectacle, but then he began to read the message. "Apprentice?" "Yes," Magnus confirmed. "Durin seems to think you may have magical properties. Untrained, you may accidentally do harm to someone, so he wants to train you. I agree, so the choice is yours." Jonathan was wide-eyed. "Are you sure?" "Absolutely. I trust his judgment. On top of that, he is the most talented sorcerer of his time. Not only would you have magical abilities, but you'd be also taught by the best." Jonathan pondered for a moment. "This feels like something from a movie. If you think it's for the best, I'll do it. Besides that, having magic powers is too good to pass up." "When does he expect me back?" "Tomorrow morning. Let's go home so you can get some sleep." The next day, backpack strapped to Jonathan's back, they all three walked through the closely growing trees to find a deer stand in the middle of the field. At the side of the three, a blue fog surrounded it. "Welcome back," Asek called. Gauda recoiled in surprise. Asek continued. "The Tiophir will be pleased by your acceptance of his offer. The first human to learn our magics. Well, at least from the Tiophir himself. Follow me when you are ready." Asek turned and walked into the pool. He laid back in the water and allowed himself to fully submerge. He did not resurface. Gauda, still amazed by the unnatural events, was left speechless. Magnus simply gave Jonathan a hug. "They will have you a room in the inn when you arrive, to save time going back and forth every day. This will help with security as well. Some hunter may spot you and wonder what you are doing. Be careful and behave yourself." "I will, Uncle," Jonathan replied. Jonathan broke the embrace between them and walked into the pool. He gave one last look at his uncle and cousin. Then he plunged into the pool. His head broke the surface. The change from cold to warm left him stunned for a second. "I'll never get used to that." "Of course you will," came Asek's cheery reply. Jonathan turned to see Asek drying himself by a fire. He beckoned him over to the fire. "Come sit and dry your clothes. You shouldn't have to be uncomfortable on your journey to Kurasek." Jonathan sat and warmed himself. He was surprised to see how quickly his clothes began to dry. Seeing his reaction, Asek explained, "I put a charm on the fire to allow our clothes to dry quickly." "This is amazing." That's nothing compared to the other magics you will learn. The Tiophir will teach you much and more of spellcraft, potions, wards, charms, and even the human magics he knows. Human magics? Correct. Your people have their own magics. Most of them are ritualistic in nature. The Tiophir is one of many who began the practice of Christianity when we first discovered it not long ago, but he still learns of all magic beliefs from Wicca to black magic. Then there are the Christian magics such as voodoo hoodoo. My friends told me voodoo was supposed to be satanic. You have much to learn then. As they spoke, the clothes finished drying. The sect clapped his hands together. Right, let's get going then. A green light filled his eyes as he stretched his hand towards the water. Suddenly, a glob of water the size of a basketball and just as round lifted from the water's surface. As the sect moved his hand, the shimmering orb followed, steam still rising from it. He lowered the orb onto the fire. It hissed as the water enveloped it. Then as the flame went out, a combination of smoke and steam rose from the remnants of the fire. The orb, shrunken now, fell apart as the green in the sect's eyes disappeared. The Tiophir will be expecting you. Let's get on our way. With that he strode away. Awed by this new reality, Jonathan followed to learn the ways of the Tiophianiar.